helping and educating others on this journey. Please welcome Zeno Kobica from Viva Properties.
Thank you, Anna. Wonderful intro. Okay, so I can't believe it's been a year almost already since I've started Viva Property. We officially launched on the 1st of July last year, over 10 months ago now, and literally days before stage 4 lockdown hit. So it was a bit of a hairy, scary start for a new business, but we've pulled through and it's booming ever since. Now we're part of a larger group. Here's the slide. So we're part of a M+ Corp, which handles close to 3,000 investment properties over Melbourne through student housing, through regular residential strata units and apartments and houses, also supplying power to the buildings that we manage, and providing repairs and maintenance services too. So we've got a bit of a large team that we can service from end to end in the real estate space, which is pretty exciting. Now, some of the properties I've been handling and selling over the past close to 10 months include things like renovated classic cottages, like this one in Dorcas Street, South Melbourne. You've got expansive family homes like this cracker in Wantirna South, 5-bedroom, across 2 levels, massive little family home, to high-rise inner city apartments, like this one in Swanton Street. This is almost a house size, 3-bedroom, overlooking the gorgeous grounds there, to tiny little bedsits, like student apartments where the overall size is about 15 square meters. My bedroom at home is bigger than this entire unit. But students love them. In fact, during COVID and now pulling out of COVID, I'm finding a lot of regular residential style of owners wanting to get into these because they're cheap and they're in beautiful locations, like this one in Paran, like basically next door to some of the best cafes that Melbourne has to offer. So there's been a little bit of a boom in that space as well. So over the last 10 months, as I mentioned, it was a bit of a hairy start in real estate with COVID. This time last year, we were in lockdown. We could barely get toilet paper. I mean, it's a distant memory now, thank God. But we had auction clearance rates of probably around 20%, which was insane. The housing market this time last year was absolutely bleak. And there's only 2 ways it really could go from there. It was just total devastation, or what's actually happened is the complete opposite. We've had a V-shaped recovery. I mean, it was like we went down and we're like up. Like it's chalk and cheese at the moment. And I remember back then the CommBank was saying, we were looking at potential price drops of 30–40% in real estate to be expected this time. But instead, the government has just thrown tons of money, stimulus. We've had JobKeeper, JobSeeker, we had a home builder grant, interest rate cuts. All of that much together has just made the property market boom. And I'm hearing that across the world. There's reports out of the US where homes are just hitting the market and sold within a day. And you've got like 50 offers or some ridiculous amount. And some of that has happened here in Melbourne. I mean, so house prices in the last quarter have risen about 6 to 8% in the last quarter alone. But that's, someone's beating in the room. But it's house prices. So with the Melbourne market in particular, where I'm noticing a bit of a 2-horse race happening, house prices have certainly ballooned, but unit prices in Melbourne have gone the other way. So instead of a rise, we've had about a 1% drop in unit prices last quarter. And that's if we take away units like low-rise units, which like have courtyards or a small block, which are almost like houses, if you take all those away, we've probably had a 5% drop in unit prices. At the same time, the houses have risen 6 to 8. So right now, Melbourne is missing about 60,000 students. There's an equivalent amount of short-term visa holders missing, and let alone the million-odd tourists that we'd expect here. So right now, there's probably 120,000 beds which are empty in Melbourne. Conservatively, more likely about 250,000 empty beds tonight in Melbourne. So there's a lot of people that are actually hurting, a lot of landlords. So you're seeing these massive house price rises, but there's actually an undercurrent of landlords, investors, particularly in inner city apartment space, which are really hurting at the moment. They just can't get income. There's no one to fill the beds. So it's an interesting market at the moment because of the mob that I'm involved with. We have, like I mentioned, close to 3,000 investor clients. Most of them are hurting, sadly. So I've been run off my feet trying to help in that space, trying to find buyers for apartments for landlords that have to get rid of them. And it's a bit of a sad state of affairs for that end of the market. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, and if the borders reopen. There's talk now that that won't happen for another year. So for some people, it's going to be an interesting time over the next year. So there's potentially money to be made for those that have money and buying into these sort of things and taking a bit of a punt, because there are going to be a lot of units that are going to be selling for potentially bargain basement prices over the next little period. And then you take the long-term view, it will obviously bounce back, but you've just got to be brave to take that plunge. So if you have any questions about that particular space, about getting involved in real estate in that space, reach out to me, let me know. Just so you're aware, this is my current stock list. I've got 10 properties on the market and 31 properties for rent. So that really says where the hurt is. It's in the rental space, people with investment properties trying to find tenants in a city. Anyway, that's me. Reach out to me if you have any questions after this, or I'll open up the floor now for anyone who wants to make